My sister
We
make
also
my
conducted
life
a
hell.
paternity test,
Final
and it was
part.
confirmed that Danielle was indeed the mother of the child. The news was incredibly painful, even worse than discovering Kyle's infidelity. I was furious that the daughter I had loved and raised wasn't mine. However, I decided to stay strong. Kyle begged me to continue visiting my daughter, arguing she shouldn't be punished for the situation, but I couldn't bear to see her. She reminded me too much of Danielle, and I hated it. After my divorce was finalized, I felt a sense of freedom wash over me as I moved into my own bachelor pad. It felt surreal to live alone since I had married so young and never really had the chance to experience independence. However, my naturally independent nature allowed me to quickly adapt to my new lifestyle, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. 2 weeks ago, my mom called to tell me she was considering changing her will because she didn't want to leave anything to Danielle. My mom is incredibly stubborn, and once she decided to cut Danielle out of her life, she stuck to it. Danielle tried reaching out to our parents and even showed up at their doorstep, begging for forgiveness, but they refused to let her in. Even my father, who usually gave in to Danielle's tantrums, seemed done with her, though it must have been hardest for him. Danielle never texted me to apologize for what she had done, showing she didn't regret her actions. She was just upset about being cut off from our parents. Mom told me she planned to leave everything to me, ensuring Danielle wouldn't contest it later. She would leave Danielle only $1. My eyes widened in shock as my mom had worked hard her entire life, including her assets, retirement fund, and life insurance. The total came to nearly $2 million. The only condition in her will was that if my mom passed away before my dad, he would continue living in their house even though ownership would transfer to me. I didn't mind this as I wanted to care for my dad in his final days. Somehow, Danielle found out about this and, unable to reach our parents, called me yesterday trying to make amends. She explained how she was struggling with college and that after Kyle discovered the paternity of the child, he had been pestering her for child support. She said she had no money and was looking for part-time jobs but couldn't find anything. She begged me to talk to our family to start fresh since she really needed my help. I laughed in her face and told her I was done with her. I reminded her that she should have thought about the consequences before sleeping with my husband and getting him pregnant. Danielle argued that I was being unfair and that Kyle was also to blame, to which I agreed. I reminded her that I had divorced him, making him her responsibility now. She shouldn't be calling me to complain about him or the child since these were the consequences of her own actions. Danielle started to raise her voice, but I interrupted, reminding her that she was no longer the favored child in the family, but the black sheep who had slept with her own sister's husband. At that moment, Danielle began to cry, telling me how everyone, including our grandparents and relatives, had turned against her. While this was true, it was no longer my concern. I told her we were done and that she should never call me again since I no longer considered her my sister. Since then, I've replayed the conversation in my mind. Despite my hatred for my sister, I had never heard her cry, at least not since we were kids. I won't lie. It did hurt me a bit to see her so helpless. So, I guess I'm here to ask if I should talk to our parents about her or if I would be an asshole if I don't. Update 1. Hi, everyone. Many of you have been asking why I am no longer in contact with my daughter, Harper, and some have even called me cruel. I need to explain that I am not comfortable raising another woman's child. This isn't a stepson situation. I was led to believe Harper was my daughter, only to later discover she is actually my sister Danielle's daughter. Naturally, this revelation hurt deeply, and I cried over it for days. The main reason I don't want any contact with Harper is that I no longer want Kyle in my life. If I remain connected to his child, he will find a way to re-enter my life, and I need my space. You may think I'm cruel or selfish, but I can't see her ever again, at least not for a very long time. Update 2. Most of you correctly guessed that it was my father who informed Danielle about my mom changing her will, leading Danielle to call me as a last resort to fix things. I confronted him in front of my mom, and he broke down saying I had punished Danielle enough, and that she had learned her lesson. My mom firmly told my father that if he believed what Danielle did was forgivable, then she could no longer stay married to him because she could never forgive such a betrayal. This threat silenced my father. My mom made it clear that if he ever talked with Danielle again and we found out, he could pack his bags and leave. As I mentioned, my mom is very stubborn. Hopefully, my father will learn from his mistakes. Update 3. Reddit. It's been 5 months since my last update. My relationship with my parents has improved over the past few months. My mom and I go golfing every weekend and she treats me more like a buddy than a daughter. Although my father misses Danielle, he has stayed away from her. The last I heard about Danielle was from my cousin who said Danielle had been asking everyone for money and eventually had to drop out of college because she couldn't afford the fees. She and Kyle are living together, and she has a part-time job as a mechanic. Apparently, they are raising Harper together, which is a good thing, I guess. I never discuss Danielle with my parents, and they don't bring her up either. For everyone asking, I am doing quite well. I was promoted at my job 2 months ago, so my salary has significantly improved. I haven't been dating anyone as I feel I still need time and space to heal. I've been going to therapy, so we'll see how that works out. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.